Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Zebra Nation Plays the FM Scout Academy Challenge with FC Dallas. And here we are, Season 8 playoffs. Let's take a look at the competitions. It is the second leg of the semifinal round. We won the first leg. We played that off camera. We'll show you the highlights from that game. But we got here by winning the Supporters Shield, which means we did not have to play in the wild card round. So this is essentially our first playoff game that we're going to show on camera anyway. It's our first playoff series anyway of Season 8. So let's get right to it. I'll show you that victory we had in the first leg against Sporting Kansas City right down here. It was a very, very nice 4-1 victory, although it was a little touch and go. Definitely, as far as 4-1 victories go, we were nervous for quite a while. And I'll show you the highlights here. Just go with the goals because it's kind of a lot of highlights here. And you'll notice the crowd noise in the background. I wanted to capture the playoffs here. And this is in the first half, 23 minutes in. Zimmerman, chases a ball down and nearly loses it, but then Makopa turns it over. Bad pass, and it turns into a quick counterattack. Centeno, there's that man, a guy who takes advantage of us all the time. Gets it to Hogan, who beats Sanchez for the goal. And the home crowd is loving it. Hopefully you can hear that, and it's not muted or anything like that. It's not too loud. So it takes us all the way to the second half. We make some adjustments. We decide to go wider with our formation. You can look at our formation. It's much wider. And we decide to play the ball wider. So here's Alcantara moving up the field. Gets it stolen away. There's Zamora with a key header to Guevara. Guevara to McCrecky, who plays what we want, which is get it out wide to Cole. Cole centers it into Washington with the easy goal. So there we are. Beginning of the second half, starting to feel a little easier now. Changed our strategy, got the equalizer, and then here we go, 66 minutes in, still 1-1. And here's Sanchez with a nice acrobatic save, and he just boots the ball downfield. Washington with the head-on to Alcantara, who just dekes the defender and then smashes it into the back of the net. And again, I say this playoff after playoff, those two strikers are what put us ahead of all the other teams in the league. Just having that combination of talent at the striker positions is just hard to stop. There's Alcantara again going around his man, gets it to Zamora. Zamora with lots of space, plays it forward. Washington looked to be offsides. Apparently not. Easy strike past the goalkeeper. And the celebration is on. That gives us the 2-goal lead. Here we go into the 85th minute. The throw into Guldan. Zamora centers it, and Alcantara with the one-timer. Just smashes it past the goalkeeper. That gives us the 4-1 lead and the 4-1 victory. It took 85 minutes. But we took control of that game. We wore them down. And we made a good tactical change, I have to admit. It was, I noticed their team was playing a little narrow, and they weren't getting out on our fullbacks, but our fullbacks weren't taking advantage of that space by going wide. Same with our strikers. And once we made that adjustment, they just kind of lost track of our players. So that's where we're at. Up 4-1. That's 4 away goals. So we've got this in hand as long as we don't foul it up. So here's our team. Here's what we're looking at. I think the one thing I'm going to do is I'm going to move Guevara and McCrecky around. I'm going to switch their positions on the field because Guevara is left-footed. He's strictly right-footed, so I want to get him a little better situated there on the right-hand side. Maybe he'll be a little more comfortable, take a few more long shots, because he hasn't been taking many long shots these playoffs, or really in a little while, so I'm not sure what his deal is. He's supposed to be taking more long shots. He's got 17 long shooting, so we need him to use that weapon. He's got that weapon available to him. So hopefully he does that. Anyway, that's really the only change we're going to make. Everything else, it worked so well in the first game. Might as well keep it going. So here's the lineup. We got Sanchez in goal. Cole Macopa, the young academy player, at fullback. Valenzuela and Zimmerman at central defense. Van de Castillo, Guevara, McCrecky, Zamora. Very good midfield, and they're going to stay together. And, of course, those two strikers, Alcantara, Washington, at the striker positions. For some reason, Alcantara and Zamora are feeling a little upset. I don't know why. Their morale is only okay. I mean, is there anything? Just two positives, no negatives. Don't know if these guys want a better contract or what. But anyway, we'll get to that in the offseason. For now, let's submit this team. And, at the very least, we just have to get a draw of some kind. Doesn't really matter what the draw is. So, we're not going to be shooting our sights too high. But we are going to try to win it and at least play a decent game for our home fans. FC Dallas are the favorites in this one. They've been impressive at home recently, and I expect to have too much for Sporting Kansas City. 3-goal lead from the first leg is a big cushion, and they should do well. I agree with all that. Let's see. Here's Tom Alvarez from the Frisco, Texas Soccer Latest, our local paper. His personality is enthusiastic. His relationship with us is a great relationship, so we should answer this guy's question. He's a local boy. He's a friend of ours. Anyway, his question is, you come into this one in good form whilst your opponents do not. Do you perhaps fear complacency? Not really. Sporting Kansas City are a better team than their recent run of form might indicate, and they're going to give us a real tough match. Sure, why not? All right, they're going with the 4-2-3-1 wide, so they're going to go a little bit more offensive here. Sometimes they keep two defensive midfielders here. They're just moving those guys up into midfielders. They've got Sturridge up top, Centeno on the left-hand side. We got to watch those two guys. Looks like maybe Johnson might be moving forward from the fullback position, but we'll keep an eye on him. Other than that, we should be able to handle these guys pretty good. Let's see, apply advice to the team. We're going to keep our eyes on Sturridge and Centeno for sure. I guess we'll look at all these guys. We're gonna make sure we close down on Centeno. I don't know what it is about that guy, but he's very tough. Very tough to beat that guy. Continue the pep talk. I might make a change here. Now that I'm thinking about it. Passionate. I expect nothing but a win. Ooh, stressed out Alcantara. That's no good. Let's go to our instructions. I guess we'll keep it on control. We'll make them make the adjustments. It's going to come out on counterattack, but I don't think they need that at this moment. So we got to finally, looks like we got a full house here at Toyota Stadium. It's been hit and miss in terms of our crowd, when they're going to show up, when they're not going to show up. So hopefully they'll see a big win for us here today. And you can hear them now cheering in the background. I like the cheering. I like hearing the fan stuff. I don't know if it's disturbing or if it's bad to listen to. I guess we'll see on the next recording. But I just wanted to capture that playoff atmosphere, give the videos a little extra juice. Should try to put more crosses in. Yeah, coaches always say the same thing, but we're just milking the clock here. No highlights to speak of. So much for that playoff atmosphere. But here we go. Looks like a counterattack. Centeno on the run to Sturridge, the slowest striker in the world. Oh, Zimmerman gets the steal, brings it up to Washington. He's going to fire it forward to Alcantara. Alcantara, can he take on the entire defense? Can he get it back to Washington, who is there in front of goal? 23rd goal of the season. There's the crowd going wild. So here it is. Again, our two strikers just taking on their entire team. Zamora is there, it looks like, also, but Washington beats him to the ball. Just plants it in the back of the net for his 23rd goal of the season. And there we go. Up 5-1 on aggregate. That should be more than enough to put Kansas City away. So now we got to look forward to the rest of the playoffs. The other series going on is Houston versus Minnesota. So that should be a good matchup between those two teams. Either one of those teams, whichever one wins, is going to give us a tough match. You know, we won that one pretty easily. So, well, we won that half pretty easily. So let's just keep those instructions. Not worry about going counterattack against these guys. We'll just try to control the ball as much as possible and then, grind it out. So here we are, the first possession of the half. And, it's been another very successful season. We qualified for the Champions League yet again by winning the Supporters' Shield. Now we need to look forward and see what we need to do to win that Champions League. There's Washington to Alcantara. You can't see it, but I'm just shaking my head as this defense, they're just letting our strikers park in front of net. Look at that. He's a little offsides, honestly. But you know what? A little hometown cooking there, home refereeing. And Alcantara just plants it in the back of the net for a 2-0 victory. I think this is the end of Sporting Kansas City. They're just a little too old, a little too slow. They certainly can't deal with us. I mean, obviously they do pretty well against the rest of the conference because they finished in the top 6, and they won a wild card round. But against us, they just have no chance physically. They can't match up to us. They're not fast enough. Not big enough, not strong enough. All right, we got a yellow card for Zimmerman. Let's look at making some changes. So we're going to bring in Eaton for Zimmerman. No need to wear out the old man. And then Makopa is a little tired, but he's got a very nice rating. Van de Castile doesn't have a very good rating. I can't leave Makopa in there. As well as he's doing, he's just going to get tired out. He's a youngster. So we're going to bring in our rookie, Bryce Wheat. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Right? W-I-E-T, Wheat. Sure, why not? We're going to bring him in, move Cole down to the left side. That's really our only option these days in terms of fullbacks after losing Escobedo to the Premier League. So there we go. We've made our changes. That should be all we need for this game. We'll save our third substitute for an injury or something like that. Valenzuela's a little tired, but he'll live. We have another 11 players going out on international duty. They just keep rolling. They just keep choosing our guys. This time the under-23s and the under-20s have chosen a few of our players. And here we go. Listen to that home crowd roar. Very good. Excellent. Solid win. Congratulate the team. I will do that. Let's see. Passionately. Nice victory. Well done. So, yeah, we're going to have a ton of players out on international duty. I don't think that's going to interfere with our playoff run, but it's just I would prefer those guys to be getting rest rather than traveling all over the world, but there's not much I can do about that. You can see over here Washington and Alcantara are climbing that goal chart. I mean, there's no way they're going to reach Sturridge. 26 goals this season. I don't know how he scored 26 goals this season. His physicals have deteriorated to the point where he's so bad. I don't understand. He's so slow. He's so weak. But, I mean, I guess skill counts for something. So there we go. 6-1 on aggregate. Francis Washington with a 7.7 rating, goal and an assist. Man of the match goes to Alcantara. 2 key passes, 8.2 rating, also a goal and an assist. So it's really pick 'em between those two guys. Stats, I don't know that we really need to look at this. Decent ratings. We had a few pretty good ratings. Our goalkeeper, Sanchez, with a 7.0 rating. That's pretty good. Cole, Alcantara, obviously, and Washington, obviously. Also, Makopa, 7.4 rating. I'm very impressed with that for that young man. Zimmerman also decently. They had some problems, especially on the defense. Brown and Hill did not play well. Fabian Johnson, he's another really old player. Might be time to let him go. I think Sporting Kansas City needs to do some overhauling in the offseason. But, that's not really my problem. Daniel Sturridge, 6.2 rating. He was subbed out at the 61st minute. So, yeah, I think they've got a lot of old dudes they need to get rid of. We've got one problem, which is our fullback position. But other than that, we're pretty good. So, there we go. We win the Western Conference semifinals. First leg triumph. All that stuff. We're going to send our assistant to that press conference. All right, so it looks like we get Minnesota in the next round. So there we go. That's going to be a heck of a matchup. Minnesota played very well this year. Third in the Supporters' Shield, second in the Western Conference. So it comes down to the top two teams in the Western Conference for the Western Conference Championship, I guess. I don't think there's a trophy for that. It's not like in the NFL where you get like an AFC or an NFC championship trophy. I think you don't get any prize money for winning it, that I understand. So, anyway, it'll be the finals series versus Minnesota next up. So, until then, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.